Marie doesn't actually necessarily believe in skin types or skin conditions. Rather, she believes that skin conditions are the effect of imbalances within your body. And the skin is the full stop at an end of a sentence. So to understand the full sentence, you have to read the whole thing to really kind of understand what's happening. Over the years, Marie's lectured all across the world, teaching her unique approach globally. She's worked for and been an ambassador for some incredible skincare brands, including launching the Origins Plant Descriptions collection a few years ago. But in 2018, she launched her own brand, Marie Reynolds London, which comprises skincare products and also supplements to treat the body and the skin from within. The line's increased over the years, so there might be a few products in there that you haven't seen yet or tried, so really excited to share them with you and to mix them so you can see how the brand is meant to be used. So yeah, this event's been in the pipeline for a few months now, but it seems like a really good time to be doing it with the constant changing in lockdown restrictions, which have really impacted our minds and our body, but also our skin. Since the first lockdown, we've seen a huge shift in the way that consumers are viewing their skin and using and consuming skincare. 56% of people have claimed that their skin has changed dramatically during the lockdown. And we've seen a continued rise of wellness and consumers are really starting to understand their skin as an organ, which they really need to help nurture and care for and protect. So there are many reasons for this marked change. The term skincare routine, I think we've seen a huge increase in Google searches. I think it's 5 times the amount of searches year on year in 2020, and that continues to grow. And it has been a very kind of predominantly digital impact that has created this increased need to understand skin. So during the lockdown, we saw a lot more experts and brands posting online, doing social activations to really educate the consumer. And again, Marie herself did a lot of IGTVs, webinars, social collaborations, giving out free advice. And since then, her digital consultations have been booked up completely. She's actually booked up till September now. So it's been incredible. Yes, from the pandemic, we saw 3 key changes emerge. So skinimalism, WGSN predict that our skin, beauty routines and products will be reshaped by a sharp focus on health, science, sustainability and social justice. So people are really starting to throw away their multi-step skincare routines, using less products that are better suited to them. And also personalization and multitasking. So no longer content with one size fits all products. They're really looking for brands that address individual needs, choosing their own ingredients and mixing them together to create products that are suited to them and brands that really work for them. This was actually backed by Korea, who found that consumers are moving away from skincare trends and overindulging in skincare purchases to keep up with what's new and current. And instead, they're looking for brands that really tackle this and can provide simple products and ingredients. And again, gentle beauty, sorry, this is my final one, I will pass you to Marie, but gentle beauty is becoming much more popular. So moving away from harsh chemicals that strip the skin and kind of understanding the importance of nourishing and caring for the epidermis and lipid barrier and enjoying a much slower and gentle approach to beauty. So these 3 trends really that have emerged from the pandemic really kind of sit with Marie's lifelong ethos, which is all about streamlining your skincare, using only the ingredients that your body and your skin needs and mixing them to create products and formulas that can help you specifically. And that's why Marie Reynolds London was born. So yeah, I'll pass you to Marie now, who is going to take you through everything and talk you through the range and how you can use it to benefit your skin. And I really hope you enjoy it.
Hello, and thank you all for coming. I really appreciate you spending the time to join me today, and I hope you enjoy the mixology class. Thanks, Victoria, for that fantastic introduction. I've been involved in skin and wellness for a long time now, but my concept with how to treat the skin from within was really born from my introduction into energy medicine, understanding how things combine. It's not just a case of just treating the gut, which which we all know that there's a gut skin link and gut brain link. But it's all about how physical manifestations start energetically, and these are from energetic stamps from all sorts of things, pathogens that we are exposed to, pollutions that we are exposed to, and our emotions. So when I created the range, Alessandra is here. I mean, bless her, she was the one who really pushed me into launching Restore, which was the first product, and for that I'm grateful for Alessandra. And I've always mixed things and understood that, you know, we have at our fingertips some amazing ingredients that are there to feed the microbiome and support the lipid barrier, which are fundamentally the two things that I believe is needed. Everything else is an internal factor, apart from obviously external pollutants. But, you know, by looking at understanding not just the digestive pathways, but also the elimination pathways. And one of the major points of elimination is our skin, obviously. So when people come to me for things like rosacea, I look at negotiating with the stomach, as well as hormones, obviously, because women going through perimenopause or menopause have a massive rise in rosacea. But it's how those hormones are manifested through the stomach and the liver that is key. So for me, launching the supplements was one of the major aha moments in skin health. And it's all about working with the skin rather than against the skin. So you'll see within the core range, the skin range, I'll only have one cleanser, one spritz, the oils. It's very minimalistic. However, me being me, I have found that the ingredients that I use within the supplements are also fantastic to use to adapt with the skincare to treat skin conditions. With the onset of the pandemic, I found that obviously I couldn't treat clients in the clinic, but I always offered a free consultation, and I found that this was absolutely, you know, taken upon, and I was jam-packed. In fact, I'm still doing free consultations. I've stopped taking any more new clients. And I also do something called energy therapy, distance energy therapy, which a lot of people can't get their head around. It's all about how pathological frequencies, because all physical manifestations start energetically. So distance therapy is very, very popular, and, you know, had some amazing results with that. So the main factors that I found through the pandemic was obviously a rise in anxiety and stress, a rise in congested skin, because when we have congestion, it's not just about, a lot of people talk about hormonal breakouts. When often you would find that it's not, it's to do with how the metabolic waste is being moved. So it's opening those elimination pathways. And people don't realize that pollutants are we're more susceptible to pollutants in our home rather than outside our home. We get pollutants from these screens that we're on in front of all the time. We get pollutants from cleaning fluids, from our, you know, the things that we put on our skin. So, you know, I then created these quick fixes that people could do. Another rise in skin conditions was a rise in fungal activity on the skin, which we know with maskne that you know was called. But also the rise in fungal conditions on the skin, like an overgrowth of candida from their diet and their lifestyle, what times they were eating, stress, anxiety, a rise in a histamine type reaction on their skin, tiny little red pimples on their skin. So all of these things were sort of like reactive. Then we've got the lack of people going out getting their vitamin D, and the classic sign of that is a dull, lackluster skin. So finding that their sort of like skin is not sort of like renewing as well as it should be, or looking as bright and alive as it should be. So what I'm going to do is show you some quick fixes that that you can implement as we go along. So if you've got your cards in front of you, which are your recipe cards, we'll go through one by one each little mixology. So the first one is the Evolve Flash Mask Cleanse. So what I tend to say to people is, with the products, they can be multi-use. It's not something new to me. I've always believed that you can get fantastic results just by using core ingredients and using them in many different ways. For example, Anoint, which is here, It's an amazing skin integrity oil. I use it to mix with so many different products, but it can also be used as a pre-cleanse. It's an amazing pre-cleanse. So that can be used as a pre-cleanse, and then you can either use goji mallow on its own. Now, goji mallow has coconut oil in it, so it's antifungicidal, antibacterial, but it also has oat silk in it and hyaluronic acid and aloe. Oat silk is anti-itch, it's anti-inflammatory, and it has an ultra hydrating action on the skin. So it's really beautiful, but it also packs a punch, especially you can use it on the most congested skins as well. Now, to do the Evolve Flash Mask, you literally just break open a capsule of Evolve, and you only need a quarter in the capsule. What I find is if you open it, just use the top half, which is the smaller half of the capsule. Now, the ingredients in Evolve are obviously super sea greens. Okay, it's a super antioxidant. It contains plentiful sea greens from the earth, and also antioxidants from the earth and sea greens. It also contains bladderwick. Now, bladderwick is a chelator along with chlorella. Now, what a chelator means is that it mops up heavy metals. So if you've got somebody that's got sort of a congested skin, or if you're in polluted areas, if you're wearing makeup, and especially for those that are sort of like doing makeup classes or putting heavy makeup on, makeup and some skincare hold heavy metals. So it's really good to do this flash mask because it's like a super boost of antioxidant, but it also mops up those heavy metals and pollutants. So you just put the top into the little pot, and then just add a couple of pumps of 2 to 3 pumps of goji mallow and just mix it round. Now, if you mix it round in the bowl and just smell that, you can smell the seaweed of that product. So what we tend to do is after you've done your initial cleanse is you mix this up, apply it to the skin and leave it on there for about 5 minutes and then remove. So that is your first flash mask. That is fantastic, a quick fix for polluted skin. And as I say, it just helps to mop up those heavy metals, but it actually also feeds the skin with those essential sea greens and antioxidants. Once that's left on the skin, you just remove it with, you can massage it into the skin with wet fingers and then just remove it with your mitt. The mitt in your kit is you'll feel it, it's so soft. Some people said that it's likened to a teddy bear's arse, so I'll take that all day long. But it is a double dense microfiber mitt. And for those people that, use your wipes, which they shouldn't do, or can't be bothered to take their makeup off, this is the perfect thing because you can just wet it and just use it over the skin, and they act as little hooks to and they magnetize all of the debris of the skin. So it's really, really lovely. And it's perfect for, sensitized skin, rosacea type skins. In fact, the products are sold on the C List, which is a website primarily for women that found it difficult to find products ideal for when I'm going through chemotherapy. And this is just perfect. And the products are perfect for those skin types. So that is the Evolve Flash Mask Cleanse. And you can see that, you can use 2 in 1 there. You can use the goji mallow cleanse and then mix it with the Evolve for that chelation to get rid of those heavy metals. It's really good for that sort of like super boost of antioxidants, and it mops up all of the topical pollutants on the skin, and it also is really good to brighten the skin. Then we're going to go on to the deep moisture, or the stressed skin. We can use another flash mask with Carmeric. Now, Carmeric is a combination, Carmeric is a supplement that I created especially for rosacea type skins, or for sensitive type skins, or inflammation, because inflammation is caused from an over-acidic terrain. When we get an over-acidic terrain within our bodies, we have something called pleomorphism. Now, as human beings, we are mainly molds, bacteria, and viruses. And a lot of people freak out about this. It's nothing to be freaked out. It's so important for us to have that as our living community of all of these organisms that prepare us for our environment, especially with what's going on at the moment. But what happens through stress, through diet and through lifestyle, those organisms can change from being symbiotic, which means that they work for us, to being pathogenic. That's called pleomorphism. So Calmeric flash mask is fantastic. Turmeric has been used through centuries through Ayurvedic medicine as its anti-inflammatory, calming effect on the body and the skin. But also pepperin, which is one of the ingredients in there, black pepper, is also really good for pigmentation. So applied topically, it's fantastic for pigmentation. So again, when you break open the capsule, just use the top quarter and then mix it with the Goji Mallow cleanse. You'll see the bright, vivid orange color. Now, this is really good, again, for that hypersensitive skin. It's also really good for that dull, lackluster skin. We're going to use Repair Plus for lackluster skin, but you can use the Calmeric flash mask because turmeric opens up the capillaries. So it helps with circulation. Now, you might think that's a contraindication as well with rosacea, but actually for rosacea it's very, very calming. But it's also rejuvenating. Turmeric is a fantastic ingredient for rejuvenation properties. So it's like a good all-rounder, but it's fantastic for sensitive skins. And as I say, you can see that lovely rich orange color that helps with the mixing of that flash mask there. So again, you cleanse the skin, apply it on for about 5 minutes, and then you just rinse off. And then we've got the deep moisture mask. Now, it says after the probiotic polish. We'll come to the probiotic polish in a minute, which is fantastic. It's one of my favorites, actually. This is a blend of the bio butters and the oils. This is a blend of the butter balm and anoint oil. So butter balm is the latest newbie on the block. So we've got butter balm here. This is a combination of all sorts of rich butters and oils. It is absolutely beautiful. It's fantastic to support the integrity of the lipid barrier. It's really lovely to use as an overnight mask. If you want an injection of those super omegas, and there's some fantastic healing oils in Anoint. One in particular is coconut oil, which is a natural analgesic. So people that have got very sensitive, sore skins, this is fantastic. So you just add a tablespoon of the butter balm with 2 to 3 pumps of the Anoint, and apply that onto the skin. I mean, Anoint is just a beautiful oil in itself, and the actual texture is just gorgeous, and it just feeds the skin, nourishes the skin. Your skin just feels, and it just gives you that lovely glass look on your skin. You can massage it straight into the skin. You don't have to leave it like on like a mask, but you can massage it straight into the skin, and your skin just absorbs it wonderfully. It's just a beautiful, beautiful product. And as I say, butter balm is one of those ones that you can use on elbows, on feet. You can also mix it with Anoint and heat it up, and pop it on your hair and wrap it in a hot heated hair towel. So again, it's another way of multi-purposing the product. It's just beautiful. So that's the deep moisture mask. And then for those that want, especially with stressed skin, you know, when we're stressed, we've got to have time out. It's really important to have time out and just spending time on yourself. So this blend is the Anoint and Elixir blend. Now, Elixir is the face oil. It's part 1 of what's called the epidermal blanket. The epidermal blanket is a mixture of Elixir and Resonate. So I have not got any moisturizers in the range. I don't necessarily believe in moisturizers. It is again working on that concept of the lipid barrier. So we've got oil and moisture mixed together. So Elixir is stage 1. It is a marula oil, so it's very, very rich in vitamin C. It also has a blend of frankincense, rose and neroli, a very small blend. And those 3 oils linked together have the same resonance as the skin. So it literally tunes into the skin. Every single thing, every single organ, every single thing on this universe has its energetic signature, its energetic frequency. So with the Anoint and Elixir blend, it does what it says on the tin. Elixir is a small molecular compound, so it absorbs straight into the skin. So we just add a few drops into the palm of the hand with a couple of pumps of Elixir, and then just massage that in lovely into the skin. Your skin won't feel greasy at all. It's not like a heavy base massage medium. It is just a beautiful medium, especially, as I say, with those blend of essential oils and the marula oil and the apricot kernel oil, along with, you know, the wonderful omegas in Anoint. So it really is a beautiful oil that you can use to do that massage with. So that's the Anoint and Elixir blend. And then there's the Elixir infusion. These are, I personally swear by these. Infusions are something that people get confused at, that when you put something in an oil base, if they don't dissolve, what do they do? If you can imagine, when you're cooking, when you're making sort of like a garlic oil, or if you're making a chili oil, how they work is the actual physical compound is put into the oil, and then the chemical compounds are released through time. So with Elixir, the Elixir infusion, you can actually use a couple of different supplements. I tend to use Eve. Eve is it's a supplement for hormonal imbalance. It's really good, like when we take it internally, it's really good for hormonal imbalance. It's really good for cognitive function. It's really good for energy. But the ingredients in the Elixir infusion are things like Schisandra berry. Now, Schisandra berry, applied topically on the skin, holds moisture. Then we've got ginseng, which is a fantastic sort of like anti-inflammatory. Sage leaf, which is anti-fungicidal. We have 50 times more fungal and mold spores in the air than we do pollen. So you can imagine all of the different spores and things that we are exposed to. We then breathe them in, and the skin and the lung are brother and sister organs. So if we have any allergies, they throw up in the skin. So sage leaf is fantastic for that. We also have alfalfa, which is a really potent antioxidant and really good for the healthy aging. Hops, which are anti-inflammatory. Wild yam, which is, they are steroidal saponins, which are very close to progesterone, so it's really good for hydrating the skin. So by using this little supplement and popping it into the oil, so you put the whole supplement into the oil. So we'll do that now. So you just empty that supplement into the oil. That then creates an infusion. Now, there is such a thing where you do not shake. In homeopathy, it's called succussion. You don't shake anything. When you shake anything, the molecular energetic components get disturbed. So what you do, you apply it into the bottle. So you've got it there in the bottle, and then you tip it upside down and you roll. Okay, and you do that every time you use it. You just tip it up and you roll. That's called succussion. And honestly, I found that just applying that supplement Eve into Elixir is just beautiful. It really is beautiful, and over time it's sort of like those chemical compounds build up. So you can also add in coal force into that if you want to. Now, coal force has obviously zinc, B vitamins in it, so your niacinamides, topical marine collagen, which is fantastic for the chill, for your hydration. So you can either put the Eve in there or the coal force, depending on what tickles your fancy. So that's really for, you know, advice on a stressed skin. Then we're going on to a dull and lackluster skin. So if we're talking about stress, okay, we're talking about the adrenals. The adrenals get very, very stressed. Adrenal fatigue has been very, very common. Hair loss, tiredness, brain fog, that has been very, very common over lockdown. And also, you know, people are getting very stressed about going back into work, about traveling, about vaccinations. So with my line of work, when people are saying that they've got specific conditions on their skin, I ask all sorts of questions. when I talk about digestion, I always talk about from the moment they chew to how they poo and everything in between. You know, nothing's off the table. I can see Ree cringing there. When we're talking about poo, nothing's off the table. You know, all sorts of things I ask, you know, what times they eat, how they were born. I look at the feet to see, give me clues on what ancestral lines they were born, because ancestral lines means so that it's really important. There are things called miasmas, and miasmas are like little muddy footprints that come down the genetic pathway. So if we've got, let's just say, an overgrowth in mold and bacteria, but when they have blood tests or anything like that, it doesn't come up as anything. Miasmas are like little clues that these molds and bacteria attach to. It's a little bit like saying, if you've got kids, Billy on his own is as good as gold, but when he's sort of like paired up with Sam, he's a little bugger. So the two, it's like they're couplings. So for me, it's like literally joining the dots and seeing, you know, what's what. And it's really important to understand that the internal process is key. You know, I've treated so many people that, you know, maybe don't use the skincare range, but literally just use all of the supplements, and I've had fantastic results from it. And I always say that, you know, I let my clients do the talking, I let my work do the talking. So a dull and lackluster skin, if we come to Repair Plus, now Repair Plus is L-glutamine. L-glutamine is the most abundant amino acid in the body. It is amazing for brain function, for skin integrity. It's fantastic for hydration of fascia. Hydration of fascia. Fascia is our you have superficial fascia and you have deep fascia. If you look at an orange, and if you peel the orange back, you'll have fascia that's attached to the inside of the pith, that's then attached to the fruit. Then you have the segments that then are attached to the main fruit, and then you open that up and you've got the little sacs that have the fruit, the juice in them, that are all attached. They're single, but they're part of the whole. So fascia is affected by stress. If it becomes dehydrated, that can affect the dull and lackluster type of the skin. So Repair Plus is really lovely to take internally. You just put a spoonful in water. You can throw it in your smoothies. It's absolutely brilliant. But applied topically, it is amazing to repair that lipid barrier. It's amazing for, you know, hydration. And it also helps to rejuvenate skin cells. So again, you just need a pinch of repair. You can actually add Repair Plus in anything. You can add it to your serums, just a tiny little pinch. You can add it to your hydrators. You can add it to your cleansers. So again, doing the flash mask, you can add the repair to the flash mask. It's a really lovely quick booster to rejuvenate the skin. L-glutamine, as I say, is fantastic. And then for the hydration booster, you can use the hydration booster. We've got Resonate. Now, Resonate is beautiful. This is part 2 of the epidermal blanket. It has ingredients in it like Gutta-cola, which is also known as Sika or tiger's grass. It has in it aloe vera, arnica, melon extract. It's so soothing and hydrating, and it just feels beautiful with elixir. But if you want that extra boost of hydration, you can add it with Skin Quencher. Now, Skin Quencher I brought out as a super booster, so it's a super boost hydration. This is really lovely as a primer before makeup. A lot of makeup artists use this as a primer. It's really lovely also to add into your foundation. It gives a really lovely glow. But as a hydration boost, you mix the two together with a little sprinkling of Repair Plus and apply that to the skin, and it feels absolutely beautiful. You just massage that in. But as I say, the products standalone are gorgeous, but you can, you know, just add a little bit of magic to give it that super boost action to it. And then we've got the elasticity elixir. The elasticity elixir here is another one that you just add in the collagen supplement into the oil and apply that into the skin. And what I say, I've got another oil which we're going to go into in a minute, which is ideal for all skin types, that I advise to use at night time. So I advise the elixir to be used in the morning, but you can use it at night time. But I advise that you use that in the morning. And then in the evening, we have some added extras which are ideal for all skin types. which is the Pro Vitamin A infusion. Okay, so the Pro Vitamin A, this is your face oil, night oil. It has baruti oil in it, it has rosehip oil in it, which are natural forms of provitamin A. It is not a vitamin A, but when it's applied onto the skin, our own enzymes, which convert one thing into another, convert this into our own retin A. It takes longer, it's not as quick, or it's not as inflammatory as some vitamin A's, but it certainly works with the body, not against it. You know, there are different components of vitamin A's, which you all know, I'm sure. I'm not going to go into the conversions of vitamin A's. But actually, you know, it's kinder to the skin, it's non-aggressive, it's non-inflammatory, and it is beautiful. Now, you can do a provitamin A infusion. The provitamin A infusion is using fungi fusion. Fungi fusion is a super it's a super immune boosting ingredient that you can use on your topically. It's not only great for cognitive function, it's not only great for energy levels, for immunity. I'm a great fan of all mushrooms and mycelium when you understand how the mycelium works. The mycelium is known as the wood wide web. It's what all plants and all living organisms and mushrooms and fungi use to communicate with other plants, and it is absolutely amazing. And when you look at energetic medicine and the Schumann resonance is known as the Earth's frequency, and that's why when people talk about earthing, it's not some new age fad that people think about tree hugging to make yourself feel better. It is an actual scientific fact that the Schumann resonance is used in spaceships, actually, so that astronauts can be grounded before they come back to Earth before feeling ill. And earthing raises neutrophil actions in the body, which are your own antioxidants. It reduces blood pressure. It's good for, again, cognitive function. So I always urge you to get out first thing in the morning, make yourself a nice cuppa, put your feet on the grass. If you're in flats or apartments, then get yourself an earthing rod that you can actually put in the household plant, and you can wear it as a cuff, and hug a tree when you can. I highly recommend it. I'm always hugging trees or dipping in the sea. So fungi fusion is also a really good source of vitamin D. So if we're talking about that lackluster skin, it's a really good source of vitamin D. But applied topically on the skin, it's also great for, it has polysaccharides, which are single chain sugars, which are really important for amino acid actions on the skin, and it just makes your skin feel amazing. Used with that provitamin A at night time, that is another infusion. And remember, just open the capsule, let it sink to the bottom, and then turn it round and roll it. Don't shake it. We want to succuss it so that that energetic process irradiates through that whole system. And I would advise that you use that at night time. You can use it in the morning. It's not an active form of vitamin A, so you can use it in the morning if you want to, but I personally prefer to use elixir in the daytime and face in the evening. The yin and yang mask, this is one of my favorites. Now, I mentioned Restore earlier. Restore is, I would say, my hero product. It was the first product that was brought to market. And as I said, thanks to Alessandra. Alessandra, I used it on Alessandra. I sent her some when she had an issue with her skin, and she said, you have to bring it to market. And I thought, oh, I just don't want to get involved with skincare because it is a nightmare, you know, what toxicology reports and all sorts of things, and there's all sorts of testing that has to go through. But I have to say, you know, thank you, Alex, for pushing me, because Restore has helped so many people. It's not only helped people through lockdown with, you know, lots of mask knee. I've also given it to many people, many doctors that have been suffering, you know, especially at the beginning of lockdown with terrible skin conditions through wearing PPE. But also it's been really popular in Hong Kong, especially with tiny children with eczema. I don't know whether you remember the terrible acid attacks and smoke attacks in Hong Kong that affected many people through inhalation that then threw up in their skin. If you have a look at my before and afters on the website, you'll see there's one particular baby that had its hands bound from the moment it was born for 108 days because it was literally scratching at its skin. And by using Restore, the mother was able to unband the child's hand, and the child smiled for the first time. And you know, it's quite compelling. And I've had so many people send me reports of using Restore from anything from eczema to burns. I've got another lady that used it on a hot water bottle burn. It was a 3rd-degree burn. And it was a Restore and Anoint. I use Restore all the time in scar work and Anoint. But I found that actually when you mix Restore with the Butter Balm, it is such a combination of all of the goodness of both masks. So we have a pre and a probiotic in Restore. We also have an 8-strain live bacteria that combat all different types of things in all different types of skin conditions. So anti-inflammatory, pigmentation. It helps with chul, which is transepidermal water loss. It's really good for sort of like fungal activity on the skin. And remember, it's all about feeding our skin's flora and fauna. If our skin's microbiome is impaired, then we are susceptible to much more fungal activity on the skin. So when people are overusing acids and you know, harsh ingredients, that is going to impair the integrity of the microbiome. But the microbiome is also going to be impaired with our mood, stress, lifestyle, diet, all sorts of things, and it's changing all the time. So Restore is really fantastic for healing. It's also a hemp-based protein. When you mix Restore, so if you mix Restore now, just use a little bit, and you've got some selenite water. That's a little added extra. I use selenite powder in my clinic. Selenite is a crystal, and it's named after the goddess of the moon, Selene. It is a high vibration. It is really beautiful on the skin. If you just want to talk topically on the skin, it illuminates the skin and it helps with cell rejuvenation. But crystals are piezoelectric, so they hold or the conductors, they hold piezoelectric electricity, which is from the sun and from us as human beings. So they are very, very conductive. I also use I use selenite powder on something called deep oscillation. So it's a conductor that uses our own electromagnetic energy that shapes the metabolic waste. So I thought that I would share the selenite powder with you. So if you just add a little teaspoon and just mix a little bit of the selenite water with that until you get a nice little paste. Okay, so you'll see, now when you apply this, I mean, obviously it's not the most attractive of masks, and it is messy. So make sure that you get a different, you know, cloth. Just use a dark flannel when you're taking this off. So if you mix that till you get a paste, okay, and then we're going to add some butter balm to it. When you add the two together, now you've got that complete 360 approach to the skin. So we're feeding the skin with the microbiome. We're really nourishing that microbiome. We're also healing and soothing the skin. It's got tons of phytonutrients in it, you know, all sorts of wonderful antioxidants. And then if you add a good scoopful of butter balm, then you've got those rich butters, those beautiful buffering omegas and feeding omegas that are really good for the cellular membrane. It will just give you a nice whipped consistency, almost like guacamole. And you just apply that onto the skin, and it just makes your skin feel wonderful after. Your skin really does feel fed and nourished and beautifully hydrated. So you can see that it's like a whipped consistency, okay? And you can apply that onto the skin and it just feels wonderful. And you just leave that on. You can leave it on for as long as you like, actually. Good 20 minutes, perfect. It's lovely. And then we've got the probiotic polish. This is my absolute favorite, I have to say. The probiotic polish, people are so obsessed with exfoliation, and it drives me nuts when people talk about dead skin cells, because our skin cells are not dead. They're mature, but they're not dead. And they act, and they have a job, they have a function. Their function is to protect our skin. It's a little bit like the roof tiles on our roof. If you keep, taking off tiles of the roof, eventually then you're going to get pathogenic substances coming in, and it will impair the lipid barrier. So with, and people are obsessed with this glow, which obviously you can get this glow without sort of like using harsh ingredients. When people are constantly using acids or constantly exfoliating their skin, your skin will look lovely and glowy straight away, because you're exposing immature skin cells that haven't reached their potential to get to where they should be. It's also impairing the innate immune system of our skin. So it's really important, as I said, to work with the skin rather than against the skin. Now, when you do the probiotic polish, again, it's using Restore. So you just use the Restore, and you use about 3 to 5 pumps of Anoint. Now, again, you've still got that lovely hemp-based protein. What I like to tend to do, again, is to warm the Anoint. If you can warm the Anoint, just pop the whole bottle in hot water while you're just prepping it for a few minutes, and then pop the Anoint in there. If you've got warmth, remember, bacteria thrive where there's warm and there's moisture. And we've got good friendly bacteria on there. So if you're using that, it's wonderful. So you just mix it until you get sort of like an oily black or dark consistency. Like so, you see? Okay, so it's like an oily. If you just pop that on the back of your hand and just mix that in, it's got enough gentle exfoliation to just desquamate, so just gently slough off those mature mature skin cells, and then you just use your mitt to remove it. When you leave that on, you can just massage that in for a minute or two and just leave that on for 10 minutes, so you've still got that lovely action of the probiotics and prebiotics in there. In fact, if you do that when you're in the bath, the warmth of the bath as well is really good. And then just remove that. Your skin is just glowing. It's really, really glowing. It's beautiful, and it's a lovely, skin prep to use before you go ahead with your oils and your epidermal blanket. And then we've got some added extras. I've already talked about the Rich Butter Hair Mask. Now, you can use this overnight. You can use it as sort of like a 20-minute mask for your hair. If you add, just apply it onto the skin, onto the hair, then you can sort of like wrap it into a warm towel. Another thing that you can do with the hair, because another thing that has been really popular is seborrheic dermatitis. So many people have been having issues with fungal reactions in the back of their head. And if you make a watery solution with Restore and rinse the hair with that, it is fantastic. You can even just sort of like pop the mask in the back of the head, and then, just rinse the mask then. And then we've got finally the probiotic soak. Again, Restore. It's a really good opportunity to grab a tablespoon of Restore, throw it in your bath and do a lovely soak, because we have our microbiome everywhere. Even, the vaginal microbiome is so important for our overall health. I talk about, feminine care is so important to make sure that you look towards organic feminine care, because regular feminine care is laden with dioxins, formaldehydes, bleaching agents, and fine cotton filaments that our body absorbs, and our vagina is the most absorbent part of the body. And actually that can show up in perioral dermatitis. So even just changing that is just really powerful. So just throwing the probiotic in the bath, restoring the bath, is a fantastic probiotic soak. So I've got through it all. I hope I haven't bored you and given you some little gems of nuggets there that you can use.